The man who could see his wife, but couldn't recognize her. A man was shopping with his wife when, for a moment, they became separated. A few minutes later, she spotted him. She walked toward him, expecting him to recognize her. He looked directly at her and walked straight past. This wasn't a stranger. This was his wife. And the strangest part was that he hadn't forgotten her. He knew he was married. He remembered their life together. And if she spoke, her voice could help him identify her. But her face couldn't. After suffering damage to his brain, something had changed in the way he recognized people. His eyes could still see a face. He could see the eyes, the nose, the mouth. But those features no longer automatically came together with the feeling. I know this person. The condition is called prosopagnosia, or face blindness. And some cases are so severe that a person can look directly at a close family member and have no idea who they're looking at until another clue gives them away. A voice, a hairstyle, the clothes they're wearing, even the place where they happen to be standing. But this raises a much stranger question. Because when you look at someone you love, recognition feels instant. You don't consciously measure the distance between their eyes or analyze the shape of their jaw. You simply see them, and somehow, almost immediately, you know who they are. So somewhere between light entering your eyes and the thought, "That's my wife," your brain is performing an extraordinary operation. And prosopagnosia reveals something remarkable. Seeing a face and recognizing the person behind it are not the same thing. But how can that happen? For years, scientists searched for the machinery that allows a face to become an identity. One important clue came from a region on the underside of the brain called the fusiform gyrus. Part of this region responds especially strongly when we look at faces. That led to a tempting explanation. Maybe this was the brain's face recognition center. But the real story turned out to be more complicated. Researchers studied people who developed prosopagnosia after brain damage, and the damage wasn't always in exactly the same place. In one study, researchers examined 44 different brain lesions associated with acquired prosopagnosia. Many didn't directly damage the region commonly called the fusiform face area. Yet all 44 lesions were connected to the same broader functional network. In other words, recognizing your wife isn't the job of one tiny switch inside your brain. It depends on multiple processes working together. Detecting a face, analyzing its structure, sensing familiarity, and connecting that familiar face to what you know about the person. Break different parts of that system, and recognition can fail in different ways, which explains something extraordinary about the man who walked past his wife. He hadn't lost everything he knew about her. He had lost one of the routes his brain normally used to reach her identity, so he adapted. He learned to rely on voices, context, and other clues. When he went out with his wife, he could even remember what clothes she was wearing so he could identify her later. But then researchers discovered something even stranger. In some people with prosopagnosia, conscious recognition can fail, while the body still responds differently to a familiar face. Scientists discovered this by measuring tiny changes in the electrical conductance of the skin. Show some people with prosopagnosia a familiar face, and they may insist they have no idea who it is. Yet their skin can respond more strongly to familiar faces than to unfamiliar ones. Consciously, the face is a stranger. But some processing of familiarity may still be happening without conscious recognition. And that reveals just how many layers are hidden inside something that feels as simple as looking at someone. Your brain can process a face without successfully identifying it. It can sometimes read an expression without knowing whose expression it is. And in severe cases, some people with acquired prosopagnosia have even struggled to recognize their own face in a mirror. There is no single photograph of everyone you love sitting inside one tiny corner of your brain. Face recognition emerges from a network, one that takes visual information and somehow connects it to familiarity, memory, and identity. And when part of that network is damaged, the person you love doesn't disappear from your memory. One path leading to them can disappear. That's why a voice can suddenly become more useful than a face. Why clothing can become a clue. Why someone can know they have a wife and still walk straight past her, because your eyes can show you a face. But somewhere inside your brain, that face still has to become a person.